Yo, what's going on YouTube fam? I'm Sue, and these are my first thoughts and initial impressions for the closed beta of Chaos Zero Nightmare. As I'm recording this, there's only a few hours left in the beta, and I've experienced nearly everything that the beta has to offer. The things that the beta does have to offer that I personally haven't played, members of my community have access to, and we've kind of talked it out using screen share on Discord. So there is basically almost no stone that I have left unturned in this beta. Like if I don't have a character, I've tried to find somebody who had the character, kind of play alongside of them, kind of understand their decision making, and kind of get a feel for every character and go through pretty much every single dungeon in the entire game. And I have a lot of things to say, so this video will be quite long. I'll cover almost every topic that I want to go through on the thing. We'll talk about the story, the graphics, the UI, of course the gacha system, because I know everybody is going to talk about that. All that will be here in this video. Before we get into it though, two things I want to get out of the way first and foremost. Number one, this is pretty much my most anticipated game in the past year and a half to 2 years, give or take. And that's not even just for gacha games, just in general. I really want this game to succeed. Chaos Zero Nightmare, what it is literally my jam. For those of you guys who have never watched me before, or you're newer watchers, you may not be aware that I was previously a content creator for a lot of Bandai-based card games. I have worked as a consultant, a designer, and a tester on several anime-based card games. I have even tried to kickstart my own digital card game at one point. Granted, it failed, but the point is, this is my jam. This is squarely in my wheelhouse. This is the thing I love to play. I've spent the greater part of 20 years playing anime-based card games. I cannot stress to you enough how much I love deck building games and then just card games in general. And then number two, because I am an official content creator for Chaos Zero Nightmare, I know that some of the community managers at Smilegate actually have been watching my streams and my content, and they are very curious to know what my feedback is. And because they might be watching it, that means that they might see your feedback in the comment section down below. So if there's anything that you really, really want to hammer home, please post it down in the comment section of this video. With that out of the way, I'm going to go through. I have a little list of things that I want to go through and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, and then talk a little bit about it, kind of collect again my entire thoughts on the game. It's going to be a little bit off the cuff. It's basically just here are the things I want to discuss, and I'll give you my 2 cents on them. First off, let's start with the story. If I had to grade the story in this game, I would give it a 6 out of 10. It's a cliche story, but it's still pretty enjoyable. Essentially, you play as the captain of the SS Nightmare. There are planets that have this thing called Chaos that has monsters in it. You kind of beam down into the chaos a la Star Trek, and you fight the chaos. And obviously, if your mental condition, the mental link, gets too bad, then you have to recall. And then eventually, you'll start progressing through the main story where essentially a holy order is after the SS Nightmare because of the events of the tutorial. It's fine, but a lot of stuff just really isn't explained properly. It's very hard for me to care about the SS Nightmare and their mission to fight chaos if I'm not keenly aware of what the hell chaos is, how it came about, so on and so forth. The character Elaine, the doctor on the SS Nightmare, basically serves as the only real window into explaining what the hell is going on with the plot. It's not a bad plot per se. Once we get towards chapters 2 and 3, I feel a lot more comfortable about the situation with the Holy Order and them trying to attack us, and we have arbitration and things like that. That's a lot easier to understand what the hell is going on. But the basic premise and the universe we're in, that's still a giant question mark that really needs to be fleshed out a lot better. The game, it has a solid structure, even if it's a bit cliche for the story, but it's not Arknights, it's not Fate Grand Order, it's not Goddess of Victory Nikke. These are still the 3 best gachas in my opinion when it comes to storytelling. It's better than the average because some games have absolutely god-awful premises for their story, but this one is it's just fine. It's not anything like super amazing. What is super amazing though is the graphics. If I had to give the graphics a score, it would be a 10 out of 10. Super Creative's 2D visuals, I think, are just straight up the best in the business, right there next to Shift Up with Goddess of Victory Nikke. And I mean, you only need to go and look at some of these combatants in the Agent Collection to know, like, just how good the live 2D is on a lot of these things. They are just absolutely gorgeous. And in-game, the sprite work is just phenomenal. I love pretty much everything about this game visually. The aesthetic, the art style choice, it's all very good. I've had some people complain that they don't really like the character designs. They don't feel unique. They feel very akin to other designs you've seen in other gacha games. There's no cohesion amongst the characters. I personally don't feel that way, but I know that some people have expressed that to me, so I figured I would kind of voice that opinion here, that some people feel like characters feel too similar to stuff they've seen in other games, or there's no like cohesion between their appearances. For example, like I guess you could say like Cassius here doesn't really feel like he belongs in the same game as a character like Maribel. So next up is performance, which I kind of noted on my actual survey for this thing. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I think the game runs buttery smooth. The unit engine is always really, really good. But for some reason, CZN doesn't seem like, at least on my hardware, work as well as Epic 7 does. I would say 99% of the time, the game is fine. It functions just like E7. I have no slowdowns, nothing. It just plays absolutely crisp. And then sometimes I'll get like random hang-ups or the game will just crash. I think I've had the game crash like 4 times in the beta. And I don't necessarily know if that's me because it's crashing or it's because of the game itself. And I'm saying I don't know if it's me because I've had issues recently with other games like Goddess of Victory Nikke that have been kind of crashing on me. So again, I'm not sure if it's something on my end or if it's something in the actual beta. I'd be curious to know how other people are dealing with performance issues. Because for me, most of the time it's fine, but there are some crashes, so I feel like I have to bring them up here. Next up, user interface. And I'm going to give this one just a straight up 5 out of 10. And it's not because there's anything wrong with the user interface, right? Like you can see on my screen, it's like pretty decent. You go over here, it has your dailies and your growth guide, right? And your achievement log. And then you have everything over here. Combatant shows you all of your characters, so on and so forth. But once you get to like the achievement tab, which I believe is over here, or like the help. Let me see, where do I have the achievement one? Achievements. Does this look familiar to anybody? The reason why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 is that straight up, the UI is so obviously copied from a Hoyoverse game. And that is going to be one of the big overarching complaints that I have for the entirety of CZN, is that they straight up feel like they wanted to make a Hoyoverse game for some reason. And I think it doesn't really do them any favors. There's nothing wrong with this UI. But let's be clear. You've probably seen this UI in so many games at this point because Hoyoverse is the market leader and everybody just wants to copy the market leader. And I'm sorry to say this, but I don't know who needs to hear it, but copying the market leader one-to-one does not differentiate you. It does not, like, what is your value proposition as a game? If your value proposition is, I am just Hoyoverse game numbers, 237, the game is not going to succeed. Like, the UI screams at the top of its lungs that we are not secure in the vision. We're not secure enough with the vision of our game. We are afraid that if we deviate too much from the generic formula that has been the norm since 2020, we are not going to succeed. And I think that that is just playing it way too safe. And I think what this game is, which is essentially a niche deck builder at the end of the day, is already inherently niche. So you should really, really lean into like a bold artistic vision that will make you stand out from the competition. Like how like a Persona 5 did. That game was a niche JRPG title, but because of how good the actual gameplay was and how bold the menu and UI system was, it stood out and it brought in a huge amount of people, right? Like, it just, we should be more bold, I feel like, with our UI choices and not be so safe and just doing what every other, you know, new gacha game is doing at this point, which is just, well, what if I just copied Hoyoverse? I really, really don't like this trend that a lot of companies have been going with nowadays. So next up, let's talk about sound in this game. This entire review up until this point, you've been hearing Rin's theme, which is the lobby music, but there are several other themes as well here. Like there's the menu system for like chaosing and other things like that. And if you go to different areas in the ship, like Arc City, it has its own theme. So yeah, you can hear the music is pretty good in this game. I would say that the music is like a B or a B plus. And the voice acting, I think, is just a 10 out of 10 in this game. I think the voice acting is very, very strong in this game. I think the standout for me probably has to be, if I could go over here to my agent collection, I think it's Magna here. I think Magna's VA, who is, I believe it is Kobayashi Yu, who has done things like Enkidu from Fate Grand Order, amongst other things. I think she's Lucina in Fire Emblem. Like, she just crushed the assignment in this. Like, she could go from very cutesy to very tough to very in your face, very over the top. I think this is like my favorite performance in the entire game, and that says a lot because Hugo is Yuichi Nakamura, who is one of the most famous VAs right now. This is Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. So for me, playing in the Japanese dub, this was the standout, but overall, everyone is fantastic, right? Like, even Renoa surprised me. I was not familiar with this VA's work, but again, very, very impressive. So the voice talent, once again, delivers. Epic 7 already has, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best dub out of all of the gacha games. Like, people talk about how good like Nikkei's dub or other games dubs are. I think E7's is just like hands down the best one. And again, whoever we are hiring for the VAs, you're just crushing it. Like, that's definitely a 10 out of 10 from me. But overall, I would probably score the sound of the game like an 8 out of 10. Like 10 out of 10 voice acting, but the score, it's good. It's just not, you know, Arknight's good. It's not Nikkei good. Like, I could listen to this while I'm gaming and it feels great, but Nikkei or like Arknights, those are the kinds of tracks that just blow me away, where I don't mind listening to them, you know, with my studio headphones on when I'm just like relaxing on my couch, right? Just listening to music in general, or I'm driving around in my car. That's the kind of music that I'd put on. And that's why I think they are still the pinnacle of gachas. Maybe 8 out of 10 is a little bit harsh, probably closer to like an 8.5. Music is a huge step up from E7, but it's not the top, like the tippy top of gacha soundtracks. I think it is one of the better ones though, overall. So I guess next up, the thing to discuss would probably be gameplay. And I think this is a very easy slam dunk 10 out of 10 rating here. The gameplay is by far the strongest part of Chaos Zero Nightmare. I became addicted to this gameplay loop. As far as deck builders go, this one feels phenomenal. I personally have never played Slay the Spire or Darkest Dungeon, but I've had multiple people tell me that they feel that this engine is like those games, but better, and people are surprised that this is a free-to-play game. Like, it has gacha elements to it, but the fact that we managed to make a Slay the Spire that's slightly better with more depth that's free is very, very good. And again, I played a lot of deck building games, right? Like, I played some ones like Marvel Legendary that I haven't really enjoyed. I played, you know, Dominion, I played Ascension, I played Resident Evil deck building game, DC deck building game. Like, if you name a deck builder, I have probably at least tried it at some point. And this is amongst the best that I have ever played. It is super, super addictive. There are tons of amazing possibilities and combinations with the characters. I found myself like really wanting to mix and match all of the characters, which, by the way, that can just lead us right into the next topic, which is balance. Every character in this game is insanely well balanced. The only character that doesn't feel good to play in the beta is Luke, and that's because a lot of his success is dependent on his later potentials, which are not accessible in the beta, right? Like, I cannot get this crit chance potential in the beta. It's just not a thing I have access to. So once I have access to better partners, the full potential system, I can hit max level, right? Luke is going to feel a lot better. And even though I don't think he feels great in the beta, he combos extremely well with his brother Lucas. They play off each other very, very well. Characters just have just so many amazingly cool and fun combinations. Like, you could slam together nearly any combination of 3 characters, and it's going to feel good to play and have lots of little nuances that separate it from just whatever you played last time, right? Just like to give you an example, like even the tanks, right? Like Magna is more of a counter, like bruiser, whereas like Calliope is a lot more like of an offensive AoE character. So even though they're both tanks, they give you different flavors, and you could kind of mix and match characters. Like, I didn't get Renoa in the beta, but I was very, very excited to play a team around Renoa and Tressa, to just like have like a big hand at all times. And then you could combo them with like Orlea, who cares about having a big hand size. And then it could also like function as our healer. We could kind of spec into that. Characters just feel very robust. They could go a lot of different ways. And it just feels impeccable. Hell, even Charon, right? Charon's cards, this card here, Echo of Futility, which is a card you start with, you could spec into, if you look at the Epiphany system, into it being a healing spell. You can make Charon your main healer if you so choose. It feels really good to just really fully explore all these characters. There are no characters, I feel like, that are bad in this game, right? I would say I would give the game's, you know, gameplay a 10 out of 10, and I would give the balance like a 9.5 out of 10, because I balanced dozens of sets in my life for companies, and it is a very hard and difficult task to get a base set where it doesn't feel like it's lopsided. Like, to give you an example, like almost any base set, to like a specific example, like Riftbound is League of Legends card game that's coming out next month. I have looked over that set, and it's pretty apparent that Kaisa is a lot stronger than the things you can be doing. Red as a color is a lot stronger than the things you can be doing with, than other colors in its base set. So that says to me, like, the balance is good, but it's not like perfect in set 1, because it's very obvious we lean towards one thing. From playing in the beta, I could not really discern like one specific thing aside from Calliope. We'll get to that in a second. Calliope is like the only thing, I guess, that feels like out of place, but everybody else, even the Forcers, they all feel premium. They all feel good to play. They all feel equally viable. And again, you can slam them together in almost any combination. Like, if you slam like Orlea, Mei Lin, Rin, it's probably not going to work, because these characters, like Mei Lin and Rin, overlap in terms of roles, and Orlea and Mei Lin are like polar opposites of what they're trying to do. They're both trying to fight for the same resource, the same style of play, so that might not work. But most other combinations feel like they work pretty well from what I've tried. Like, you can play, you know, 1 tank, 2 DPS. You could play 3 tanks if you want. You could play 3 healers. You could play double healer DPS, double healer tank. Like, all of these combinations feel good to play. And I'm just in awe of how good it is in the state that it's in the beta. Like, maybe once we get to end game, it'll be a bit different. But the balance is just super, super tight in this game right now, with the exception of this character. This character is a little bit overtuned. Like, this card is cracked when upgraded, and then this card being able to just be a free play AoE whenever you go for one of these cracked setups is just... Yeah. Of everybody I've seen, this is the one character that feels like she stands slightly above the rest in the cast. But overall, impeccable job when it comes to balance. Now, the next thing I want to highlight on is localization, and I probably would give this like a 5 out of 10. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but the reason I think the grade I would give it this low is because there's a lot of typos and a lot of text wrapping issues, and I'll show those on screen for you guys. And, you know, some of it is like really bad. It's pretty blatant. Like, if I come over here to Charon, for example, and I go to Manifest Ego, this is the dupe system area. If you come and look at some of his dupes, right? Like his fourth dupe here says whenever a void card is used, gain Paradox of Nothingness 1. Paradox of Nothingness for 1 turn. Cylon's attack damage plus 10%. What's a Cylon? And then I realized, oh, Cylon is just a mistranslation of Kayron. Now, I've heard people tell me that they just used AI, like they just put the original Korean into AI and just had it auto-generate and ship it. I don't know how true that actually is. I have been told from the CM that the localization team is working on it. So again, I'm not 100% sure, but whoever we got localizing it did not do a super great job. There are a lot of typos, a lot of things being classified as the wrong thing. And just in general, a lot of synonyms for things, which will lead, I guess, into our next thing, which is card templating, just really isn't there. But this is again, it's a small thing because they've already confirmed to official CCs that this is being looked into. It will get fixed in time for the official release. So next up is card templating. And what I mean by card templating is how easy is it to understand what the card does. If cards are not written in such a way that it makes sense, like you want to make sure that your cards all use uniform language, right? They don't deviate too much amongst cards because it'll feel very jarring. People come to expect a certain syntax from their card games. Like it should always be uniform. I should never have any doubt what the card is doing. I should never have any confusion. And if there is confusion, there should be tooltips on screen to more accurately explain how the card works. That is not the case in Chaos Zero Nightmare, and it's tied for my #1 biggest complaint. The card templating in this game right now, I would give it like a 3 out of 10. It's pretty bad in a lot of spots. Most cards, I would say like 80% of cards are very easy to understand what they actually do. But then you come to characters like Mika, right, who has a card called Tactical Analysis, and when you play it, you wave 2, then save 1. Simple, right? Okay, so what does wave 2 mean? And then you click on wave 2, and then it tells you nothing. And then you click on save 1, and then it tells you nothing. The only way for you to know what wave 2 and save 1 are is to actually play Mika and be acutely aware that in the top left-hand corner, that when you play the card, she will gain the wave status, and then you have to click on that, and then it brings up a menu that explains what wave is, which is so frustrating. So I have to commit resources and cards in hand. Like, I basically have to trial and error to figure out what the hell certain cards do. It's not inherently obvious what the cards do, right? And then, like, even a character like, say, Rin, for example, she has cards that say, when in Dark Cloud Blade art, you get this effect. Now, obviously, I'm showing you here on screen drawing slash, which gives you Dark Cloud Stance, right? But is Dark Cloud Stance the same as Dark Cloud Blade art? That's not obvious. But yes, this is like one of the cards that puts you into the stance, right? I've been jokingly saying on stream that Rin is literally hit from Dragon Ball because all we care about is going into the stance. The, you know, the whole... This is the stance! I continue to improve. Outstanding! Essentially puts you into the stance and then draw two Rin's cards. Not 2 of Rin's cards, 2 Rin's cards. So again, you could kind of see it. And then if I go to Manifest Ego, right? She has like a certain card. Is it under Manifest? Let me see if it's either under Manifest or Epiphany. I'll find it. Yeah, okay, I think it's under Epiphany. So yeah, it's under Epiphany for the same card. So this is move Dark Cloud Arcane Art Mjol and Dark Cloud Arcane Art Hekemu from draw pile to your discard pile. Okay? So, and you click and see the reminder text, Dark Cloud Arcane Art Mjol is actually Dark Cloud Arcane Art Annihilation. It's just not consistent. The language is not consistent. This says, search for a Dark Art Mjol. That card does not exist. Now, if I didn't have this reminder text, right, and I was in game and this was in my hand, I would have no idea what this card's effect actually does. Like, that's to really like hammer home how off a lot of the cards like translations are. And again, this one here, this one is at least decent enough to show me the 2 cards. This is not the case for every card. A lot of cards, You just kind of have to figure out what they do, trial and error, which is a really bad thing to feel in a card game. If the templating is not good, it's really bad. Like, the game feels like it's unplayable or frustrating in certain areas. I can play through it and figure it out because of just years of doing this stuff. But for a brand new player, this is going to feel like exhausting. They really have to clean up the typos and then clean up their card templating. They really need to make sure that it is blatantly aware that if a card says, you know, like, for example, this one is Mark II. If a card says Mark II, what the hell does Mark mean? I should be able to click on this and it should tell me this is what Mark does, or bring me to the help menu that explains what marking does. So I am more acutely aware of what the hell it means. So that is, like, gameplay wise, my biggest complaint. And I'm stressing gameplay wise because, of course, how we have to end this video is talking about the giant elephant in the room that is inescapable. Every single content creator, comment section, Reddit, Twitter, like all of social media is abuzz with one thing when we talk about this game. And it is the worst thing in the entire game. And it is, of course, the gacha system. The gacha system in this game is not good. It is Hoyoverse's gacha system, the one that every game seems to want to copy. There will be a limited banner, a limited weapon/artifact banner, a standard character banner, which is combat and rescue, a standard partner banner, which is basically your weapon/artifact banner. And this will use your standard currency, and there will be limited currency for the limited ones, so on and so forth. And there is a fifth one here, which is the Prism module banner, which is actually not that bad. This is, in case you're wondering, a cosmetic only banner. Essentially, all you do is you just can, throughout getting quests or farming, you get these cameras, and this lets you just, you know, spin the gacha like this, in case you want to see what the gacha animation looks like. And we'll see if we get a 5-star here. Nope, we did not. So we're gonna just go. So I got a prism here. So here's our prism module for Lucas. So this essentially lets me now, if I play Lucas, I could go to Lucas's cards, right? Let me just skip here real fast. There's another one for Selena and another one for Tressa. Oh, we actually did get a 5-star. We got a Rin. Okay. So we got a spook. We were not supposed to get a 5-star, but we got a 5-star. That's actually my first time seeing a spook in this game. But just to show you what it is, so you roll on that. That's all farmable currency. You don't have to worry about that. It's not going to influence your gameplay. You could get some 4-star characters out of it, or like 3-star artifacts. So it's just a little bit of a perk for you. Not going to really affect too much. But what you do is you go to your cards, and then you go over here and you select a card that you want. See if I can have the prism module, restore card motion. So I go over here and I restore this by hitting this button. And what it does is it gives you a shiny animated foil version of the card. It's the premium version of the card. It's the thing that you grind for. Like, Rin's my waifu. I'm gonna foil out my Rin deck. It's the card game player thing to do. We love shiny cardboard, right? Card game players, we like, this card's destroyed, but here, we love our shiny cardboard. Like, I just have foils just sitting on my desk. So that's a really nice touch. They know that card game players are gonna love that. But the core gacha system is not good, because it still has the 50-50 from Hoyoverse games, which at this point, Hoyo's the one that put that into the game. Either it's just all random, or you just get rid of the 50-50, right? Like, back in the day, games like Puzzle and Dragons, right? Like the OG gacha games, it was just you roll, you get what you get. If a character's rated up, it's more likely to be that character. That is the old style of doing it. Nobody liked that then, but that's all we had. Hoyoverse put this 50-50 mindset into everyone's mind, and since they're the market leader, that's what everyone copies. But the gachas that people like really, really love are the ones that don't have it. Like, gacha is not this niche thing anymore. It feels like it shouldn't be as predatory as it is. Like, gacha games are always going to be predatory. Like, that's just the nature of it. It is a free-to-play game. It is supported by people who just spend oodles of money on, you know, waifu PNGs. That's just the nature of it. We accept it. It's found in other games as well. Sports games use the same thing, like NBA 2K and whatnot. It's just, that's the state of modern gaming. I hate it, but I've come to accept it. But 50-50, like, shouldn't be the way. Like, it just feels so scummy and so bad to your consumer. Like, at least if I'm gonna give you piles of money for anime titties, at least guarantee that it's the ones that I want. So I really, really think they should do away with the 50-50 because it has killed so much interest for this game. A lot of the hype for this game on like our Gacha gaming or like, again, in other content creators comment sections, people who were legitimately excited for this game, as soon as they heard, oh, it's a Hoyo Gacha with a 50-50, I don't care, right? If I go to, what is it? Like, this is like, again, straight up, we just ripped this right from the Hoyoverse thing. Like, it even has the same, like, you've seen this a million times. It's exactly the same, right? The rates in this game are better than Hoyo games, but not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, it justifies the 50-50, right? It's not Nikkei. Nikkei is like 3 to 4% on a 5-star. So like, yeah, there's 50-50s, but my odds of pulling something are really good. And also Nikkei is like significantly more generous with its currency than this game. So I think you are not doing anyone any favors with the banner system being the way that it is. And I've heard people say that limited characters, we can't test that in the beta, will not join the standard banner, which is another Hoyoverse practice thing, which I kind of hate. I feel like new banners should be moving to the standard banner when they're done, unless it is a true limited and you announce it in advance and it gets like yearly or like bi-yearly reruns. That's fine. I'm not asking for Epic 7 because I know Epic 7 is like the most generous Gacha game pretty much out there or very close to it. And I've talked to former CMs before in monthly meetings with them from my time at Epic 7, and they straight up told me E7 is just actually too generous. It's actually like they can't make enough money to like fund certain things. It's too generous essentially because nobody's spending on the game. I mean, that's an issue for a whole separate thing. I think the monetization is bad. They haven't properly monetized skins, so on and so forth. That's a whole other ball game. But the point that I'm getting at here is that if you were scared that you were going to make it too friendly and you wanted to make it less free to play friendly and more towards like other competitors like Hoyoverse, you didn't have to go the whole way. We have gone way too far in the other direction to where I would actually say Chaos Zero Nightmare is the least generous Gacha game I have seen in a very long time. And I have played Genshin, I have played Honkai Star Rail, I have played Zenless Zone Zero. And I think that the current pull economy in this game is atrociously bad. I have done about 250 summons in the closed beta. 180 of those were given to me for free by Smilegate as part of the beta. So I effectively got one pity on my own merits from grinding 25 plus hours in the beta. And now imagine if I lost the 50-50 on that. How bad do you think that would feel? I would never, ever want to come back to that game. If you look at some of this stuff, right? Like, let's say Magna, right? Friendship farming. If I go from each level gives me 2 crystals out of 1,600 that I need to get a multi. I can literally max friendship my character and I don't even get a multi. This is going to take so long because I get like 1 level per day of friendship hanging out. So it would take me a month to get this unless I'm willing to spend items to like fast track it, right? That does not feel good. Nikkei also has a 30 level affinity bonus system and you get like half a multi or close to a multi for plus 30ing a character. Like, this is really, really bad. Even the achievements, again, we looked at this achievement page. You've seen this all before. This is all the Hoyo style stuff. I think that we tried so hard to UI and monetize like Hoyoverse that it's a huge disservice to what is otherwise a near perfect game, in my opinion. So overall, right, the gacha system and its pull economy is the biggest negative of the game. And if they don't find a way to fix it, I think it will straight up just kill a huge chunk of people's interest in the game. Any success I think that they could have had, I think is going to be mitigated by this. Like, you'll have your big spenders, your whales that'll go, you know, for trying to, you know, dupe characters, which by the way, we haven't even talked about that. Like, dupes in this game are just absolutely ridiculous, and I do think that they either need to tone them down, or you need to give us something like slates from E7, where it's an item that we can get, you know, monthly or basically get it either like once every month to 3 months, that counts as an item that gives us a dupe of our choice for a character of our choice, and a promise that you're not going to like implement PvP either later on, because these dupes are just absolutely insane. Like, take a look at Charon. I pulled 2 dupes of Charon, right? So my first dupe literally makes it so that I get 2 more cards when I generate, like with his attacks. And his whole thing is about generating these void cards. So I just, by having 1 Charon dupe, he is significantly easier to play. It takes the challenge out of playing the character. I get rewarded more because I got either lucky or I spent more. And then if you look at the second one, right? Whenever I use 2 of the void cards, which is this whole thing, I just get a free AoE attack. It just makes the game easier. And then you have just like other characters in general, like Orleia, right? Orleia at max imprint just gets to do 100 fixed damage. 100% of her attack is fixed damage to all enemies for every star of a creation card she gets. Her entire kit just makes creation cards. So my setup cards just do damage. Instead of playing setup, building towards a big combo, and then throwing it all out for big damage to win the fight, like how you're supposed to play her, with E6, I essentially just get the damage for doing the setup. I get paid instantly, which I think is really bad. It makes the game a lot simpler, right? And I don't really like that. Like, I think dupes are too strong. Like, there are some dupes in the 4-star section, like Ray at 6 makes it so that she kind of turns into like a pseudo support like buffer, which I think is really cool. It gives her an extra niche. So I get what they were going for. Dupes give you more flexibility, more build paths, but some of them are just, especially the 5-stars, are just way over top and just really, really make it feel like pay to win. So yeah, I know I've been rambling for like the last like 10 minutes or so on like Gacha systems, pull economy, and dupes, but those are the 3 worst things in this game. And I really think they should take a good hard look at those systems and actually, you know, address them. Because I think that those are the most valid concerns from every potential customer, every potential player. People have been very vocal, very loud about it, and rightfully so, in my opinion. If I had to score the game right now, I would give it an 8 out of 10, which is pretty much exactly the same score I gave Zenless Zone Zero. An incredibly good-looking game. A very fun game. Like, I am addicted to the gameplay loop in this game. It is that good. It is like the most fun I've had playing a gacha game since Epic 7 came out. Like, I think this could be an all-timer, one of the most fun games ever. It is severely, severely held back by the UI and just the general embracing of a business practice that most consumers in the space just don't want. I think when I said that they were too afraid to have like a bold vision, like that's really what it feels like. It feels like we are just copying a competitor in the worst aspects of the game. And I don't know if this is like management or some kind of corporate thing, but they really need to find a way to get away from that. They need to change the pool system. It might be too late to change the UI, but like I want something that feels like very bold and very like refreshing. I don't want more gacha games that are like Hoyo games. I really don't. And I don't think that people want them either. Because if I wanted a Hoyo game, I would be playing Zenless Zone Zero. But I'm not playing Zenless Zone Zero at the moment, right? And that is the market you were trying to capture. Hoyo has their players. They're not going anywhere. You need to capture everybody else. I don't think you're going to steal people away from Hoyo. You might, but let word of mouth from other people carry it first and steal people over, like how Shift Up did with Nikke. Make a good game first, people will come and give you money second. That is how it should be. And we have a good game here. Now we just have to monetize it in such a way that doesn't feel so predatory that it scares people away and actually gives the game a shot. But yeah, so there it is. In so many words, nearly 40 minutes of me rambling about my thoughts on Chaos Zero Nightmare. So yeah, let me know how you feel about everything down in the comment section below. Do you agree with anything I said or disagree with anything I said? Would love to hear any and all comments. And I do have a couple more CZN videos coming here on the channel after the beta closes. I'll do like a basic gameplay breakdown and also my thoughts on every single character and how I feel they're best used and if I think they're good or not in the beta. I'll have those videos sometime in the next few days. Anyways, as always, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later now.